The human arrived at the edge of the station alone. Bleeding and weak, his armor was broken, his breath slow, and his vision fading. Every step felt heavy. But he kept moving, because stopping meant death. The alien trade station was loud and crowded, filled with many species, creatures with scales, metal skin, glowing eyes, and long claws moved past him. But when they saw the blood on the human, they stepped away. No one wanted to help. No one wanted to touch him. The human collapsed near a supply gate, holding his side. Dark red blood soaked through his suit and onto the metal floor. He tried to speak, but his voice came out weak and broken. An alien merchant noticed him and froze. Others followed, whispering in fear. "Do not help him," one voice said. "Leave him," another warned. "This place is not safe for mercy." The human looked up. Confused, he did not understand their language fully, but he understood fear. A tall alien with long ears stepped closer, then stopped suddenly. Its eyes locked on the shadow behind the human. The color drained from its face. "Move him away," it said quickly. "Anywhere but here." The human turned his head slowly. Behind him, the lights dimmed. A deep silence spread through the station. Even the machines seemed to pause. From the dark corridor came a soft sound, slow steps, light but steady. Claws touching metal. The crowd pulled back as one. No one stayed near the human now. Fear spread faster than sound. A small alien whispered, shaking, "She is here." Another hissed, "Stay away from her." The human tried to lift himself, but his body failed him. Pain burned through his side. His hands slipped in his own blood. He followed their eyes toward the darkness. A tall figure emerged into the light. She walked on two legs like a human, but her body was covered in soft fur, dark and silver. Her eyes glowed softly. Sharp and calm, her ears were tall, listening to every sound. She did not rush. She did not run. The Catwoman stopped a few steps away from the human. Her tail moved slowly behind her. Her gaze fixed on the wound. The crowd watched in terror. Some aliens turned away, unable to look. Others whispered prayers to old gods. "She will eat him," someone said. "She always does," another replied. "There is no mercy in her kind." The human heard them. His heart raced. His mind screamed at him to crawl away. But he could not move. The Catwoman knelt beside him. Her movements were careful, almost gentle. She tilted her head, studying him like a puzzle. The human expected pain. He expected claws. He expected the end instead. She raised one hand slowly. Her claws stayed retracted. Her fingers hovered near the wound. The station alarms began to blink softly. Medical sensors detected critical failure. The system marked the human as dying. The Catwoman leaned closer. Her breath was warm. Her eyes showed no hunger, only focus. The crowd held its breath. No one spoke. No one moved. The human whispered, barely audible, "Please." No one knew if he was asking for help or mercy. The Catwoman lowered her head. Her tongue brushed the edge of the wound. Slow and careful. The human gasped, not in pain, but in shock. The bleeding slowed. The burning eased. The alarms changed tone. Across the station, screens flickered. Medical readings shifted from red to yellow. The crowd stared, frozen. This was not possible. This was not supposed to happen. She was warned. Someone whispered. They all were warned. The Catwoman pulled back slightly. Her eyes met the human's. For the first time, he saw something there. Not a monster, not a beast, a choice. And as the station lights brightened again, the galaxy realized something terrifying and beautiful at the same time. They had been wrong. The station did not return to normal after that moment. Whispers spread faster than signals. Aliens stared at the human and the Catwoman from a distance. No one came close. No one offered help. Security drones hovered higher than usual. Medical units stayed locked behind shields. The system did not know how to react. The human lay still on the floor, breathing slowly now. The pain was still there, but it was weaker. His mind tried to understand what had just happened. He looked at the Catwoman. She had moved a step back. She watched the crowd. Not him. Her posture was calm but alert, like someone used to being hunted. An alien officer approached carefully. Its voice shook as it spoke. "You should not touch her." The human blinked. Confused. "She saved me," he whispered. The officer did not answer. It only repeated, "She is dangerous." Around them, old stories returned to life. Stories told in dark corners of the galaxy. Stories of ships found empty. Stories of claws and blood. The Catwoman heard everything. She did not react. She did not defend herself. She turned her head slightly toward the human. Her eyes met his again. There was no anger in them, only distance. The human tried to sit up. His body protested. But the wound no longer burned like fire. The station screens changed again. Medical signs showed improvement. The system flagged it as an error. "This is not possible," a technician said. "Her species does not heal," another replied. "Her species does not spare." Fear shaped every word. The Catwoman slowly stood. The crowd stepped back at once. Some aliens nearly fell over each other trying to get away. She raised her hand slightly. A universal sign of no threat, but no one trusted it. Security lights flashed yellow, warning but not attacking. The human felt anger rise inside him, not at her, but at them. "They left me to die," he said weakly. "You all did." No one answered him. The Catwoman turned away. She took one step toward the shadows, then stopped for a moment. It looked like she would leave. Like she always did, like the story said. The human spoke again, louder this time. "Why did you help me?" The question hung in the air, heavy and dangerous. Slowly, the Catwoman looked back, her ears lowered slightly. Her voice was low, rough, unused. "Because you did not run," she said. The crowd gasped. Some aliens froze in shock. The human frowned. "I could not," he replied. She stepped closer again, carefully. "Others can," she said. "They always do." Silence followed. Not fearful this time, but uncertain. The human realized something then. She was not feared because she attacked. She was feared because she did not belong. The station speakers crackled. An announcement echoed. "Contain the situation." Contain, not help. Contain, not understand. The Catwoman's body tensed. She knew that word. The human reached out slowly, not touching her, just enough to show trust. "Do not run," he said. "They will hurt you." She studied him. Her tail flicked once. "Humans judge less," she replied. The words confused him and scared the others. Security barriers began to rise, metal walls sliding into place. The Catwoman stepped between the human and the barriers. A silent choice, a dangerous one. "You will be blamed," the officer warned. "You already are," she answered. The human felt the station change. Fear turning into something else, something closer to panic. Because if the monster chose to protect, then the rules were wrong, and the galaxy hated being wrong. As alarms shifted tone again, and containment protocols activated, one truth became clear to everyone watching. This was no longer about survival. This was about judgment. The containment walls stopped halfway. The system hesitated, as if the station itself did not know what to do. The Catwoman stood still, her body between the human and the rising barriers. She did not growl. She did not threaten. She simply stayed. The human felt warmth spread through his side. Not pain, not fire, something calm. He looked down. The wound was closing slowly. Skin pulling together in a way he had never seen before. Medical drone scanned again. Then scanned again. The results made no sense. "This is impossible," a voice said over the channel. "He should be dead." The Catwoman knelt once more, closer now. Close enough that the human could hear her breathing. Her tongue touched the wound again. Gentle, careful, precise, not like feeding, like work. The human clenched his teeth, waiting for pain, but none came. Instead, his body responded, heart rate steady, blood pressure rising, life returning across the station. Alarms went quiet. Red warnings faded to orange, then to yellow. Silence followed. A deep, heavy silence. Aliens watched with wide eyes. Some in fear, some in confusion, some in shame. "She is healing him," someone whispered. "No," another replied. "She is not allowed to." Rules echoed louder than reason. The Catwoman pulled back slowly. She watched the wound seal fully. Then she sat back on her heels. The human took a deep breath, a full breath, the first one without pain since the attack. He laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because he was alive. The Catwoman's ears twitched at the sound. She tilted her head, as if the idea of laughter surprised her. "You are safe," she said quietly. The words hit the crowd harder than any threat. Safe, from her. Security officers froze, weapons half raised. Unsure if they were guarding or threatening, the human slowly pushed himself up. Weak but steady, he looked at the Catwoman. "They said you would eat me alive," he said. She looked away. "They always say that," she replied. The human followed her gaze to the crowd, to the aliens who had stepped back, who still refused to come closer. "They did not help me," he said. "You did?" The Catwoman stood, her tail low now, her posture no longer defensive. "They fear what they do not control," she said. "My kind cannot be controlled." A command echoed through the station. "Restrain the Catwoman." The words cracked the calm. The Catwoman stiffened, her muscles tensed, old instincts waking. The human stepped forward without thinking. His legs shook, but he did not stop. "No," he said loudly. "You will not touch her." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A human standing between them and the monster. "She broke the rules," an officer shouted. "She saved my life," the human answered. The station paused again. Systems locked in conflict, orders clashing with data. The Catwoman looked at the human. "Move," she warned softly. "They will hurt you." He shook his head. "Not if I stand here." Something changed in her eyes then. Not fear, not anger, recognition. She placed a hand on his shoulder. Light, careful, a silent message. The weapons lowered slightly, not because of orders, but because no one wanted to be the first to fire. The Catwoman turned to the crowd. "You call me a monster," she said, "but monsters do not choose mercy." No one answered her. The human felt it then, not pride, not victory, truth. The galaxy had built its fear on stories, and one human standing alive was breaking them all. As the containment walls powered down and the station lights stabilized, one fact settled into every watching mind. This mercy was not weakness, it was power. News did not stay inside the station. It never did. Sensors had recorded everything. The wound, the healing, the human still alive. Data streams moved faster than ships. Clips reached nearby systems, then outer sectors. By the time the human could stand on his own, the galaxy was already watching. On distant worlds, screens replayed the moment. The Catwoman kneeling, the human breathing again. Panic spread among officials, not fear of violence, fear of truth. Emergency channels opened, orders overlapped, voices argued. "This cannot be released," one council member said. "It changes too much," another replied. Back on the station, the air felt heavy, not with danger, but with attention. The Catwoman stood near the human, not touching him now, but not leaving either. Security forces repositioned. Not closer, not farther. They were unsure. The human noticed the change. The fear in the crowd had shifted. It was no longer about being attacked. It was about being exposed. A high-ranking envoy arrived through a secure gate, tall, armored, surrounded by guards. The sound of authority followed him. He looked at the Catwoman, then at the human, then at the medical data. "This station violated protocol," he said. "No," the human answered. "This station survived because of her." Murmurs spread again. Some angry, some uncertain, the envoy raised a hand. "Her species is classified as a threat. That classification is wrong," the human replied. Silence followed, sharp and uncomfortable. The Catwoman spoke calmly. "You feared us because we would not kneel." The words struck harder than any accusation. Screens around the station activated. Council members appeared in holographic form. Faces from many worlds. They did not look at the Catwoman first. They looked at the human. "Did she force this healing?" one asked. "No," the human replied. "She chose it?" another voice followed. "Why?" The human hesitated, then answered honestly. "Because I was alive." That answer spread like fire. The council exchanged looks. Rules were clear, but reality was clearer. Medical experts spoke next. Data confirmed regeneration. No weapons, no toxins, only biology and intent. The Catwoman lowered her head slightly. "Not in submission, in patience. We heal our own," she said. "We do not hunt the weak," the crowd reacted. Shock turning into discomfort, the human stepped forward again. "They told me to stay away from her," he said. "They left me to die." Images replayed, aliens stepping back, turning away. The galaxy saw itself clearly for the first time. The envoy clenched his jaw. "This changes our treaties," he said. "Yes," the human replied. "That is the point." The Catwoman looked at the council. "You made us monsters, so you would not feel guilty." No one denied it. Across the station, some aliens lowered their heads. Others watched silently. Containment orders were lifted. Not announced, just quietly removed. The council spoke again. "We will review the classification." It was not an apology, but it was a crack. The human felt relief wash over him. But the Catwoman remained still. She had seen promises before, as the broadcast ended, and the station returned to partial normal. One thing was certain. The galaxy could not unsee what it had seen. Fear had ruled for generations, and now mercy had entered the record. And records had consequences. The station felt different now. Not safe, not calm, but honest. The human stood without support for the first time. His body still weak, but his voice steady. Around him, aliens watched quietly. No whispers, no warnings. The Catwoman stood beside him. Not as a threat, not as a secret, as a truth. The council broadcast returned one last time, their faces serious, careful. "Effective immediately," the lead voice said. "The Catwoman species classification is suspended." Gasps spread through the station. Not because it was justice, but because it was possible. The Catwoman closed her eyes briefly. Not in relief, but in memory, suspension and waiting. Waiting was familiar. The human looked at her. "You are free," he said. She shook her head slowly. "Freedom is not given," she replied. "It is chosen." He understood then. This was not about laws. This was about courage. Medical teams finally approached, slowly, respectfully. They did not touch the Catwoman. They asked. The human allowed treatment. But he did not step away from her. Across the station, small changes began. An alien lowered its weapon fully. Another stepped closer, not close enough to touch, but close enough to see. A child from a trading family peeked out from behind a crate. its eyes curious, not afraid. The Catwoman noticed. She knelt slightly. Lowering herself to the child's level, the child did not run. That moment mattered more than any council vote. The human watched it all, a smile forming without effort. "They will remember this," he said. "They will try to forget," she answered. He laughed softly. "They will fail." The Catwoman looked at him, her ears relaxed, her tail still. "Why did you stand?" she asked. The human thought for a moment. "Because someone once stood for us," he said. She understood that answer. Ships departed from the station later that cycle, carrying goods, carrying stories. This one traveled fastest of all. A human bled, a monster knelt. And mercy won. On distant worlds, conversations changed, warnings softened. Questions replaced fear. Not everywhere, not all at once, but enough. As the human prepared to leave, he turned to the Catwoman. "Will you stay here?" he asked. She looked toward the open docking bay. "Stars waiting beyond." "No," she said. "I will walk where I choose." He nodded. That was the right answer. They parted without promises, without ceremony. But something stronger remained. The galaxy had learned a dangerous lesson. That humans do not fear the unknown. They reach toward it. And sometimes, what reaches back chooses mercy.